have reached the voice mailbox of Ocean Shores Realty. Please leave a detailed message, and we will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
I mean, seriously, it doesn't look like there's going to be a home development here anytime in the next 10 years.
Now.
This house is empty.
Second one over there is empty.
And this one's empty in the corner, right?
Well, I couldn't tell through the windows, but we probably so because of the yard. Yeah,
that's
empty.
Solid empty. This is empty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's empty.
It's empty.
That's empty. And when you're saying empty, I don't know if it's foreclosed, bank owns it, guys trying to sell it.
Well, what's happening, some of the people, when they're just leaving them.
Right. That's empty.
It's empty.
That looks like it's got somebody. But this is empty.
This is nasty.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the worst I've seen.
Now, what did this house originally sell for?
This had to be $2-something. $250 at least.
$250,000.
About, probably.
And whoever owned it is now in foreclosure?
Bank took over it already.
Bank took over.
Yeah.
And what is it worth today?
That's a very good question.
What someone will pay for it?
Yeah. Reality, probably under 100.
Under 100?
Yeah.
You said it was in the 250 range new?
Yeah.
And now it's under 100?
Under 100.
It doesn't help that someone's taking everything out of here.
Well, when I first came here, all the cabinets were gone. This is how I found it. Broken window. Okay, someone smashed it. The cabinets were gone. I mean, I can't believe these people, you know what they did. Look at it. You got the cabinets, you got the wires, the plates.
Well, the copper is worth a lot of money these days.
How can you buy a piece of property 2 years ago, an appraisal be done on the property 2 years ago, in today's market, 2 years later, it's over $100,000 upside down? How does that happen? It wasn't my fault.
They have to take personal responsibility for their bad decisions, but helping them make the bad decisions were mortgage brokers that were driven by greed on the commission, some real estate agents that didn't give them the full picture of what would happen. They promised them things that wasn't sustainable.
I get really sad. I get really sad because I just don't. I wanted more. I wanted to provide more to my daughter. And I got angry because I'm pissed. I'm pissed that I didn't ask, what happens if I can't refinance?
There's a lot of people that finagled it to make a quick buck, and I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
They made money,
Right.
and they got caught in the pyramid that they created, you know, so they lost. So, but it's, you know who you should feel sorry for is the rest of us who are going to eat it. We're the ones that are going to be paying for it.
They bought more house than they could actually afford, and so they're just paying interest on them, and when their peeps are losing jobs, couldn't afford their houses. Now the government's thinking that they're going to try to help some of these people out to keep their houses, and that doesn't seem to be working too well either.
The Fed took a bold step and cut a key interest rate by half a percentage point.
I don't even recall ever seeing a 3/4 percentage point cut.
The Federal Reserve will lower interest rates again at the last.
This is the biggest cut in 24 years.
Our central bank is cutting rates, printing money, throwing gasoline on a raging inflationary fire, at the same time saying to the banking system, okay, let's just cover it all up. We'll cover it all up, and if you get in trouble, come to us. You can give us the bad paper.
Should the government be bailing out Wall Street for these excesses? So this kind of lending splurge they went on to get everybody into home ownership, no matter what the cost.
The United States government is now the lender of last resort for the entire residential real estate market. How many more failures will there be? Even more relevant for the American taxpayer, should the government be running up hundreds of billions of dollars in debt, bailing out some people and not others? When real estate imploded, some of the biggest names on Wall Street disappeared. I went to check out one a few days after it declared bankruptcy.
You don't think they got lots of cash here?
No, I don't think they're equipped.
It's not moving very fast. No. Get back in heat? Yeah, that wouldn't be a good sign, though. Like, you know, all of a sudden security at IndyMac started, like, taking out clients. You know, that would be
The fact that we have a person running the Federal Reserve who does not know what he's doing, we have a very serious problem on our hands, and it's gotten much, much worse. The man has taken $400 billion onto the Federal Reserve's balance sheet of dicey loans at best. I mean, he's turning the Federal Reserve into a pawn shop. You have something bad that you can't sell, take it to the Federal Reserve. He'll lend you treasury bills against it or treasury bonds against it.
State capitalism is often the first stage of socialism.
Now, someday somebody's got to pay for that, and you know who the somebody is? My little girl, you, me. I mean, it's going to be the American taxpayer who's going to have to pay for this, and it's going to cause many, many, many more problems.
We might say that state capitalism exists when the government achieves a combination of ownership and control in business and industry large enough to permit it to dominate the nation's economy.
We have to blame ourselves for our decisions. We are the government. We elect the politicians. Has everyone gone broke? Of course not. But when millions of people are on the losing side, in many cases due to their own decisions, finding someone or something to blame feels real good.
The people that maybe didn't do as well, they didn't have the background. They were going more on what they had heard in the media. More often than not, when you listen to the media, by the time it hits the airwaves, it's already leveled off or on its way down.
The whole media cultural milieu now is one where you ought to be gratifying yourself immediately, not one where you think about how can I save, invest, increase my assets. The actual messages run against each other. No wonder it's more difficult now for people to become financially independent. The thinking isn't there in the society.
I've listened to everybody on TV and radio. I've read the papers and magazines. I've tried, but I'm still confused. Who's right? What's right? What should I believe? What are the facts? How can I tell?
The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost more than 777.
The Dow suffers the largest one-day drop in history.
$1 trillion wiped out.
How did this happen and what happens next?
It will take them so long to make back what has happened to them.
Not a month, not a week, but one day later, the end of the world appeared to be premature.
The Dow rebounded, closing up 485, erasing much of Monday's historic drop.
Huge rally on Wall
The biggest
Street.
rally in 6 years.
Experts tell us a big rally in the stock market today.
Does anyone really believe any of these people?
You just can't take information. You got to process the information, and you got to think that most information, like most opinion, is suspect.
The media tells us exactly what we want to hear. We want an explanation, so they give us one. They tell us that this is why the markets are going up. This is why the markets are going down. They've got a story for everything, every day.
The news media, I think it's important to know that, you know, as a person who watches the market on an hourly basis and then sees this report at the end of the day and you just shake your head and you're like, they don't know what happened. They've got no clue. You could ask the guy on the street corner, with a can there, ask him, and he's got as much idea as the rest of us. I mean, even a guy, that trades, some of the best traders in the world, they don't have a clue.
Financial information is a lot like the law in that it's almost designed to be intimidating. If you look at the way that financial information is presented, it's like it's presented with a wall of exclusivity.
44 times forward multiple on earnings.
And the fourth quarter non-GAAP number, the estimate that they're giving is 12 to 14.
Every day, you don't have a list of 20 new great stocks to buy. I mean, a big part of